Right. So up next now, Ricardo will talk about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but every time I see that title, I always think about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Well, yeah. I mean,
think about that.
it's a little bit of that, right? It have that proto thing, and well, there's something that's revealed at the end of this that is like, okay, that makes sense.
All right, I feel I know what it is because like it was slightly spoiled for me in terms of the inspiration behind the story. I think that's where.
Well, no, but yeah, that's effectively what it is. Like it's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I haven't seen it unfortunately. Although I saw the trailer like one too many times this year, and I absolutely love the trailer, especially the use of Queen's another one bites the dust, right?
Yeah.
And the premise, I mean, who doesn't love to see Nazis getting shot at and blown up, right? But unfortunately, I just didn't get the time to see it, man.
Yes,
but Ricardo, you did.
Barely scraped again. This was yesterday, scraping late screening.
And yesterday itself, at the time of us recording, this was when I wanted to go, but I was working on that album review that I did earlier in this episode, so I didn't have the time. But yeah, Ricardo, take it away. What was I was about to say the League again, right? Yeah, what was the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare about?
World War II going on. German U-boats being a problem, and so Winston Churchill say, all right, we had to get grimy with this and fuck them up, right? And so he called Henry Cavill's character, who's based on was a real guy, and he just say, look, we just gotta fight nasty and do the dirty dirt to get into this narrative. And yeah, that is about it. It's just I think they make a couple of fictitious characters or these side people who wasn't necessarily real into it. That's with in the case of Babs, I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, Dr. Mbega from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and while he was in Dune, that dude. And then I don't know the woman's name, but she's based on a real person though. And yeah, so it's just about them just it's not a real version of the story, but they do a highly stylized version of the story. And yeah, I took it in as the late screening. This was my last screening last night, late, but I took it in and I dug it. I came for the Guy Ritchie and stayed for the Guy Ritchie. That's why it works, right? Yes, every character in it felt a little too cool for school. That is by design. It had Henry Golden in this as, it's basically like, in the same vein as something like a Suicide Squad, but also a team, proto League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, kind of group kind of, misfits come together kind of thing. That is basically what it is. It's just a bunch of assholes who know how to work together. We're bad guys, kind of, right? But working for the good guys kind of thing. And, it mostly works because of the set pieces and overall production. Really good editing, but nothing wowed me. It's just overall competent. Just very
right. And because it's Guy Ritchie, I know it's gonna be stylized, right?
Right, exactly. And it's his style. He really does a good job with this material. He has done very little bad for me. Very, very few of his movies has been outright bad. I think the only one...
There was that King Arthur movie, yeah?
Right, that's the only one of his that I really hated. That King Arthur movie is a colossal waste of my time.
Although I kind of defend it to that because it's just so ridiculous and I kind of fucks with the theme song. But other than that, that movie was bad.
Yeah, that movie was really, really bad. But yeah, that was about it. I think most of his other movies are fine, mostly, for the most part, and then some are just outright brilliant. But yeah, this was good. This was just decent out and simple. Don't overthink it. They didn't really make the characters too deep. They did some interesting subversion, at least from our trope subversion we expect. Like, I thought they would have killed off Bab's character, but they didn't. He was actually a pretty badass. And then what did they do with the female character? I thought they was going to do something with her, and they didn't do that. And I was like, okay, they make it work for what it was. It would have been interesting if we got a more grounded take on this story, because the stories are based on a true story. I'd have preferred a more grounded take on it in the vein as, say, when Spielberg did Munich, for example. Something like that. Like, I'd have probably preferred that, or it would have been more interesting. But as it is, it's fine. Like, it's just nothing too much to talk about as a full review or what it's about. It's just killing Nazis, but like a highly stylized version of that. And they had to do some shenanigans in Africa. Like, it had a whole sequence with a brothel, which is really kind of clever and surprisingly workable. And it's that makes some sense. I get it. It's funny. And it works. It mostly works, given the context and the story. And yeah, none of it is outright bad. It's bland and it's not special. Like that's my main problem with it. But fun with this rating, yeah, a high 6. I want to see, right, closer to a 7. It's a high 6. It's not bad. I dug it. I had fun. I can't say I didn't have fun. I'll admit I saw it later when I saw it later in the night when I was a little more loose out. It was alright. So I wasn't, and I was a lot more relaxed. It was fine. I had a gyro and a stag after. I went and sleep.
Okay, for a second, I thought you was going to tell me went to buy the gyro or something.
No, after. After.
After. Okay, my bad, yeah.
But I was enjoying myself. I eat while I was drinking while I was watching it, but it's fine. It's cool. And I dug it. And it wasn't like too offensive or obnoxious or anything like that. It's just, I dug it. This was South Park. I chilled out. The school. Vibes. So that's it. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Again, I would have loved to see something like a more grounded version of this, or something more serious, like Munich, or the one that Tom Cruise did way back when. Remember he did that one?
Valkyrie. Yeah.
Valkyrie, right. Something like that. That would have been more interesting. I would have liked to want to see somebody do something like that. But we get Guy Ritchie silliness, and it works for the most part. Way better than bullshit like Argyle, right? Henry Cavill, some wasting time in that crap. Yeah. I like Henry Cavill, wasted time in this crap. This was good. I had fun with it. Yeah, a high 6. I enjoyed this one.
Nice.
I recommend it.
Right. And last but not least, let me talk about Rebel Moon again, man. So Rebel Moon. We saw it.
So yeah, my brain completely evacuated this, because if I had to watch this after all of that, like if I had to watch this like today, Matthew boy, I was probably not gonna review it. I'd be like, boy, let Matthew talk about this by himself. But I'm not gonna let you suffer.
No. Well, thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Right.
I watch this when it come out. I say, look, go listen when it don't drop. I tell myself watch. If I don't watch it now, I'm not fucking watching. Because the first part, I had a whole belly full of puncher creme and I was falling asleep.
Yeah, no, as you see that, right? The good thing is you see Puncher Creme, right? Because, last one, part 1 of Child of Fire, right? Came out around Christmas.
Okay, on Christmas.
I watched it, I think I watched it the Saturday, the day before Christmas Eve. Like, God forbid I was going to watch this for Christmas Eve, right? Or maybe I did. You see, I can't remember. I literally cannot remember when I saw the first one. Was it on the 24th or was it the 23rd? I can't remember, right? But point is, I sat through it and I was just like silent. Like, the show did absolutely nothing for me, right? To the point that, when we talked about it after Christmas, I put that on as the top in terms of worst films of the year. And for me, the simple reason why I had to put it as number 1 way is that love Zack Snyder or hate Zack Snyder. Forgive him for BVS or don't forgive him for BVS, right? The man has done better in his career. 300, Watchmen. That's it. Don't mind, it's just 2 films. Look, people. Here's the thing. People's expectations were so low for this one here, part 2, right? That I saw it on Facebook, right? IGN, right? The kind of folks at IGN put out a list and say, this is the top-rated Zack Snyder movie in his career so far, and that one being 300, right? And rightfully so. I love that film, right? And the lowest is part 1, is Rebel Moon Part 1, right? For them to say, okay, we have to rank his movies before Part 2 come out, I'm like, wow, but like, are they really like expecting this thing to be trash? But I'll close this, right? Because all right, I will do the substance first, right? But
sure.
I'll spare that. I will spare you that burden, because for me, I literally saw this a few hours ago before we even met up here online, right? So it's still fresh in my mind. It will get rotten just now, but it's still fresh in my mind, right? Whatever. It's like people were just expecting this show to be bad now. But like for me, again, like I said, the reason why I hated the first one was that the man has done better. The first one felt so low effort. It felt lazy. It was like taking every cliche of epic sci-fi space opera films, and this and with bits of like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, and this mesh it into one film, Dread.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument, well, it's big budget, and you can watch it on Netflix. You don't have to see it in theaters. But then what made it even worse for me though was the whole I don't want to call it rumors, but the whole talk about, oh well, there's an R-rated cut and that's coming out just now. So
yeah.
But then it just brings up the obvious question: why not just put out the R-rated cut? You know what I mean? Like why not do that?
Yeah.
I mean, man, literally put out Army of the Dead on Netflix.
I think that's the part.
But they're acting as if, oh well, when it comes to Zack Snyder, we just usually associate him with PG-13 films, even though his two best films, 300 and Watchmen, are R-rated films. So why are you acting as if, oh well, if this PG-13 movie version was so hard, then imagine how the R-rated film will be. Oh my god!
That's the part of Zack Snyder's kind of bother the hell out of me, because for somebody, he has more talk about him outside of the goddamn movie than in the movie. All the bullshit, most of the bullshit, like 90% of the bullshit, is just talking about him, his fandom, or something outside of the movie that had nothing to do with that. And he's not even like that, like engaging our filmmaker, like from a like political standpoint. Like you see how everybody having debates over Alex Garland Civil War? That's a real debate.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's a real debate with real adults arguing over something that I think is very important, in my humble opinion.
I agree.
This is like a sort of fucking bullshit, Judd. And it's like, dude, just make the goddamn movie. And then when the movie comes out, it's like the biggest waste of your goddamn time, Judd.
Exactly. And again, it's from a guy that, love him or hate him. He is just synonymous with the action movie genre, like just what he did with films like 300 and stuff like that, right? So it's like that, right? But anyway, so part 2, right? So just a quick recap about part 1, right? And you have to forgive me, folks, because as soon as I heard that that part 2 was trash, I did not even bother to recap the first one, because yes, you're hearing it from me, folks. I was going to recap the first one just to refresh my memory, but after I heard that 2 was trash, I say no, no, thank you. So
yeah, and that's the problem with it. Like, look, it's still film discourse, but at least you feel like a serious discourse happening. Look, it's not you're not debating Dan Dennett, right? R.I.P.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
It's that. It's just that bullshit. Like I don't know. It's just annoyed the hell out of me, Drew.
Yeah.
However.
So let me try to remember, right? And I'll keep it quick, of course, right? So last time, there was a planet.
Yeah, previously.
And there was a chick on the planet called Cora. Yeah, previously on Rebel Moon, right? Yeah, right. And there was a chick on the planet called Cora, who is played by McGill Sophia Boutella.
Right. Oh god, that another thing, eh? Drew, like Star Trek people pick she up quick now, because beam she up now, Scotty, because geez, why she just wasting she talent in this nonsense, Drew.
Well, she was in Star Trek Beyond.
I know, that's what I'm trying to say.
But
Star Trek people grab she and pushing the new shows now. God,
I want to like her in this show, but
Jesus, right?
But I'll get to that, right? But anyway, yeah. So she on a planet, and it have a bunch of farmers there, and the idea is that they have these space Nazis, and they show up like every month, I think it is, because they need grain, right? So
right.
Plus, the show's so damn unoriginal, right?
Yeah, it's
do the whole Dune thing. So it's like, oh, so the spice is green, right? I'll talk about Dune in with part 2, right? But anyway, so space Nazis show up. One of them is Noble, right? Atticus Noble, played by Ed Screen, right?
Yeah.
And they have a moment that people's cracking up. I remember you crack up of it, where you're thinking, oh, it's the future, right? And lasers and shit.
Yeah.
Pull out a stick with a man.
That's just actually.
Yeah. Pick up a shillelagh, right? On paper, I get it, right? I get it. You want to show how brutal he is, but again, it's going back to the whole PG-13 versus R thing, right? You want to show more brutality, but you're always hiding it, right? Whatever, right? So Cora get pissed because one of she friends was about to get assaulted by by Noble's men, and she kicks some ass. And this is android who is voiced by Anthony Hopkins, and he does some long-winded narration at the very beginning, right? So he shows up and helps you out too, and they decide, here's what, right? Yeah, there was a film way back when called Seven Samurai, from a guy called Akira Kurosawa. So I think we should do that same thing too, right? So let me just go travel to different planets and find warriors and whatnot, and let me get them on our side, right? So we have to take down Noble and the evil Imperium and all these big Nazi people, right? And that's pretty much it, right? And the first one pretty much end with her now end up literally killing Noble, right? And I was like, oh, okay, well, wow, we killing the villain before they even go back home. Okay, right.
Right, but
surprise, because
he wake up.
Yeah, well,
our body transfer or some bullshit or a clone. I couldn't follow exactly the logic.
Yeah, it I think it's that, but how they show it in this one here is almost like they just took the man body and inject life into him, so to speak. But yeah, you could be right. It's probably like a new body or something like that. I can't remember, right?
Okay.
Anyway,
right.
So part 2, the Scargiver, is pretty much a follow-up on that. So, our heroes return home and people waiting on them and like, yeah, these are they're gonna help us. Yay, right? One of our heroes, Titus, played by my boy Jaimon Honsu, say, oh, the bad guys are showing up in 5 days. Alright, cool. So here's what we're gonna do, right? We have to cut all this green, right? And after see it here one time before I even get to review, right? Oh my god, you could laugh and laugh and laugh about, Snyder's, hard on for slow-mo shots, right? Plus, there are 2 montages in this, right? Slight spoilers, folks. Sorry. There are literally 2 montages in this film involving characters cutting greenhouse. And it's done in this super stylized slow-mo. There's a moment where you seeing kids running and they all enjoying the greens in the air. I'm like, fuck this movie, Jill. Are you serious? Padding, dog. Padding, all of this makes no sense. But you want to show her camaraderie and unity. What's it a bunch of men just cutting green,
Yeah,
and
because they're so homely and home down in the farm.
Zack treating this like it's so heartwarming and uplifting. It's a bunch of men cutting green, But anyway, so they cut the green, and and the villain himself, right? Noble. He's like, oh well, all right, well, I have a bunch of people hiding out here, and they want to attack we as soon as we come for that green, right? So we on to it, right? And they show up, and war starts, and that's pretty much it. It's just the war that we were promised in the first film, but because it's a 2-parter, like we had to wait.
They double up and they double up on the not lightsabers. Because it had a big dumb, lazy, lame, not lightsaber fight in this one.
Yeah, not lightsaber duel.
Fucking garbage. Like, holy shit, dude.
But yeah, before I rip this movie to shreds, Ricardo, since you barely remember the film, since you forcibly washed, at least attempted to wash this film away from your mind, give me your honest thoughts on
this
part 2 of the Scargiver.
Again, I think what frustrating about this kind of stuff is that it's not even like engaging in your anger. Like, okay, I try to think of a movie that engaged in my anger, but I watch it. But I hated it, but I could watch it and enjoy it. I can't even engage. It's like, is it the most low effort bullshit? It really feel like it almost feel like he gave up in a sense. Like, in a sense that he just don't care anymore. And he just pull out the laziest old script. At no point I look at this and say, this man care about his material, Dread. Look how this man care about this material. Nothing. It feel like, if you remember an old movie called Aragon, it just feel like the
dog. I went like cinema to see that shit.
Yeah, it was right. Now here's the thing with Aragon. An actual 15-year-old wrote that, like back then.
Yeah. So, yes.
And
right.
And that guy grew up to become an amazing author, right?
What's his name again?
Sanderson. I forget his name. Sanderson, I think.
Okay.
I want to say that Brandon Sanderson. What did Brandon Sanderson take over?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
Books. It's somebody author died and he took over.
Oh, okay.
Slipping my mind. Whatever. All right, so yeah. Well, it's like Aragon. It don't go away from original point. As in, it's a bullshit to write this, but that person was an actual 15-year-old instead of a big goddamn man, giving us the laziest bullshit ever. And that's the problem. This too low effort. And I say, as ask a really simple rule of thumb. If you don't care, I don't care. Full stop. And it really, last time it was bad. This time it was worse. This is worse.
I agree, boy. Yeah,
this was worse somehow. It's just a colossal waste of my time, Jared. What's this? What's going on here? Why are you getting money still? Stop it. Like, enough. It have hungrier, more intelligent, more creative people who could do more with less money. Enough. Stop wasting people money, please. This is embarrassing. Stop it. Enough.
Yeah. I'll take it from here. Because you need to go off, right? What's so ironic about this show is two things, right? One, we have long gone past the whole, Zack Snyder had a Star Wars script and he sent it to the people at Star Wars and they were like, at Lucasfilm. He's like, we cool. And he, made this film. So this is his Star Wars story put to screen. We long forget that, After that first film drop, it was like, all right, we don't care. We don't care if this is your Star Wars story, right? Because it is painfully so. It's so painfully unoriginal, right? The biggest joke of this movie for me, boy, is when it was released. Because this came out, this literally came out about a month or so after Dune Part 2 come out.
Yeah, boy, oh God, boy. I mean,
I was like,
chalk and cheese, eh? Talk about chalk and cheese, eh? That is real chalk and cheese. I think what another thing, I think another thing that's kind of bother me too is that, because it's so low effort, and again, you realize you're talking to people who, seriously, I'm sure I'm going to meet somebody who's going to really like this, and it's like talking to a flat earther. Like you don't know what it is they're defending exactly. You just watch movies, and again, it's real shitty to have an attitude like that in nowadays, especially, right? Especially after all the kind of arguments and meta arguments we've been having over this kind of stuff. But with Zack Snyder, something about him is just drilled to the worst personalities. And I am sure in real life a very nice man. I think he is very talented. But holy shit, dude, like get a proper project and put your energy on something, Jordan. What is this nonsense? I'm wasting everybody's time, please. Jesus Christ.
Agreed, you're right. And I mean, as somebody who, I don't want to say I love or support all of his films, right? But again, 300 and Watchmen, they really impacted me, right?
No, but even like Alter Goal. Even something like Alter Goal.
Yeah. Well, the point is fine. Even
not masterpiece,
right? Exactly. Even when he swings a lot, right, and he tries to do a lot, right, previous, right, the man still has to tell a story, and this one, just like I say, just felt so low effort, right? The world building in this is done in like one of the laziest ways possible, right? And forgive me, folks, I have to get into some minor spoilers here. I'll try to keep these spoilers. I will try to lessen the potency, if you will, of the spoilers, right? There's literally a moment where the film stops, right? And the characters, right? The heroes, right? Even Korra as well, too. Korra has her own moment, right? But everybody else, right? Because, the criticism of the last film was, we being introduced to characters and we know nothing about them. The show literally stopped to give me backstory after backstory after backstory. I'm watching each one, right? Now, to get the good out of the way, because there is good. A modicum of good, but there's good, right? Visually, it looks, some moments, not all, some moments look really, really, really spectacular, right? But that is to be expected from a Zack Snyder film, right? Whether it's, shit like Sucker Punch or his Justice League or 300 or whatever, there's always like great looking moments, right? And I spotted a few during this moment, right? Case in point, the one involving what's his name, boy? Tarak, right? The one who was introducing the last film with the kind of with the griffin-like creature, whatever it is, right? Like that moment look real cool, right? But it added nothing to the story. It added nothing to the main conflict, which is space Nazis coming to planet and they need to be wiped out. It added nothing to it, right? It tried to do world building, but it just didn't work, right? So what I'm not gonna get into what happened in those sequences, right? But what Zack, boy, I don't know, like, is this head up your own ass kind of mentality, right? Where you're thinking that the audience care about all this, right? Like, wow, look at how messed up this person's past was, boy. So I should care when this person go out in the battlefield. No, not enough. It's not enough. Ultra example, Nemesis, right? They give me some kind of weird backstory with she and how she get the non-lightsabers in the first place, right? And logically, it just make no sense what it is she do. And I wouldn't even go. I'm not even gonna say what happened, right? Because it should even explain it. How suddenly she know how to use these weapons, right? Because it's like, oh, we never used to fight before, but because of something that happened, because of the Imperium or whatever it is, now I instantly know how to fight. How they show it just made no sense, right? But I'll stop there, right? But the point is, again, the show expects you to care about this stuff because, look, you see these one-dimensional characters that was introduced in the last film. Look at how sad they had it, and look at how the Imperium messed them up. So, yeah, we should root for them, right? No, it don't make sense because it doesn't add to the story. It's just lazy bullshit, world building, right? Anyway, the performances. To be honest, I can't say that the performances are bad. I can't say they're bad, right? It's just the material that they're given is a problem.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's why I don't blame anybody else. I don't think anybody was like necessarily particularly bad. It's just, the material is just a colossal waste of everybody's time.
Exactly. Yeah. So I can't take shots at Anthony Hopkins. The man doing what he's supposed to do, right? What he paid to do.
Exactly.
I can't be mad at Ed Skrein for playing this one-note villain. That's what the script gave him, right? I can't even be mad at Jaimon Honsu for playing this one-note tough guy, right? Because that's what the script gave him, right? But for me, I feel the one who suffers the most by is Sophia Boutella Dread. Because line delivery.
Because she's in my humble opinion, I don't think she's like. Yeah, in my humble opinion, I don't think she's some incredible like super talent or anything like that. But I find she always had a great look, and when you use her well, she always really works well. Like she was great in Kingsman. She was great in Star Trek. I every time you get her right, she was great in the one with Charlize Theron. Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde, yes.
Right.
Yes.
When you give her something, and she's not like, I don't think she's like necessarily a great actress, but she's one of those actresses. Once you know what to do with her, she's really shined. She really have a great look and everything, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
And it just to see she like just get a she tried to green light on this nonsense. Like, nah, she should have passed on this project.
Yeah, boy. Sorry, but she was just a flat character. Just the look, the delivery, especially the delivery, boy. Ooh, the lines that they give her, boy, rough, right?
Yeah.
Now, another positive I will give the show, right, is the action. The action kind of lives up to what it is you was expecting from all this, right? But there's a problem too. But
it is one of those things where you're wondering where the money going. I find it don't look outright terrible, but it don't look as expensive as it says it is.
I would agree. Yes.
Still looking cheap.
Yes.
Still looking a little cheap. And I watching it, I was like, but this one looking like, because at times it's some Sky Captain bullshit we get in here. Sorry.
No. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So right. Yes, like the explosions. Oh gosh, like I'm talking about explosions, but action sequences, right? But I mean, like in terms of just what you expect now, it's these villagers going up against the bad guys, right? So you get some dope visuals, right? But yeah, you're right. Oftentimes, some of it just look kind of cheap by Hollywood standards.
What I think happened. Here's what I think happened is what happens that I don't think Zack Snyder's use of volume at all. And to me, everybody done evolved to go and use volume now. So he's still it really feel like he's still using green screens. Like some George Lucas 20 years ago thing. It really feel like that.
There were a couple of shots though of characters just standing in front of the camera. And it completely look like they're on a green in a green studio, whatever it is now. You know what I mean? It just looked it looked terrible, right?
Yeah.
And you could add as much smoke as you want to and lasers and whatnot.
Yeah,
it don't hide it. Also, this is just a nitpick of mine, right? Like, forgive me, I'm not no VFX expert, right? But it's something about how the lasers look, especially like the gun muzzle. Like, it has sort of like this weird lava look. So, when the shot is fired or when the shot hits,
design.
Right?
I mean,
but it's something about it that just
that's the design.
So
like, I get it.
Artificial though. It just don't feel organic. It don't look organic to me.
No, that's an aesthetic choice. That's fine. Like, again, I could see why somebody might complain about that, but like that stuff like that don't bother me. My thing is just when you see this scene blended and it not looking like a single scene with people standing in it. No, it's like when you look at the volume. Like, here's an example of a great use of the volume. Matt Reeves, the Batman, right? Absolutely masterful use of the volume, in my humble opinion. That shit has looked great, right? That has looked like people standing on a building overlooking a city. It really looks like that.
Yes.
This don't look like anybody on an actual farm, right? On an alien planet. Like, I know it's an alien planet. Okay, fine. But still, you're not getting a sense of the space now. You're not getting a sense of the space. I don't know if it's Snyder used the wrong lens. I don't know what the fuck going on. But shit looking fake as hell and looking terrible.
Yeah. I would agree. Some scenes look ridiculously tight though.
Yeah.
Even though it's like these like sprawling like big battle scenes or whatnot, right? A few things for you before I get to read it. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about this shit, right? But even with that though, the film still feels like sluggish though and poorly paced, right? To the point that I'm watching this big battle sequence, right? And there were times where I just sort of tuned out. I just got bored. I was just like, all right, just going anywhere, just doing anything different. No.
Somehow Snyder's make action boring. Because
I know, like we live in a world, right, where a Zack Snyder film with action bores me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's still employing the same slow-mo stuff, but in this case here, it's done to it's done to laughable effect. There's a sequence involving Korra and Atticus, right, with a ship that's going down, with a starship that's going down, right, and in this scene you had to throw logic out the window. Like there's no logic in it at all, right? But it's when they do these slow-mo shots, straight. And I'll put it like this: the characters are fighting while the ship is going down, right? But it's when they do the slow-mo aspects of it, that's when you see just how fake and how ridiculous it is, straight.
Here's the problem, right? I think a lot of action has to inform a story, in my humble opinion. Like one of the biggest sins of like especially Michael Bay. And to a certain extent, even a lot of modern cinema, but Michael Bay, I'd say, is number one, and Snyder to a certain extent. But Michael Bay and really some of the MCU, where you just have a story and then you just jump to action sequence. And this is probably one of the worst examples of that, where you just need an action set piece as a checkbox. It's really feel like if a big studio head tell yourself, no, you need to have an action scene here. So cut this, and put action scene in the middle of here. Yeah. It really feel like that.
Yeah.
None of the action feels like it's informed the story. Very little of the action, I should say. Exactly. At least in the first film, you got that. A girl, and then to introduce a character, you're getting that is some basic boilerplate stuff. But at least the structure is there. This, for some reason, all the action is boring, and this again tick in
a box. We must have the explosion here. Character must see this, blah blah blah, right? And that scene that I said before with the ship going down, that make perfect sense. I mean, logically, wouldn't it make sense for the characters to flee? No, you are so enraged and you want to kill the two hero and villain want to kill each other so bad that they want to do a non-lightsaber fight scene while the ship is going down and the ship itself being tilted.
I don't mind that because I get what you're going for, but it's still stupid.
And then when you get to these slow-mo shots, it looks so laughable. That's what I mean.
We had a movie we watched where two men, fighting death in a goddamn volcano.
Thank you. Northman, but how they build that up, though, and the emotion and tension behind it make perfect sense. Not, oh gosh, ship going down and I must avenge you. No, come on, stop it, right? Mm-hmm. So, couple things, and then we wrap up, right? There are scenes, and one thing, just like the first film, where the show really drops the ball a lot too, is how serious I should take this, right? The tone of it, right? In this one, the tone is slightly lighter compared to the last one, which took itself way too seriously, right? But here, there are moments where I'm just watching this thing, I'm like, all right, how should I take this seriously? Like, case in point, that scene, the montages I talk about with Green being cut and you hearing this song playing in the background and whatnot, right? Also, because this is such a hodgepodge of like different films, right? We in the future, right? We in space and whatnot, right? And yet you hear like medieval music and shit when people dance and celebrating. Right. I mean, come on, right? Let's speak.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. What you trying to do, whatever.
Yeah, and you want to do Lord of the Rings stuff, right? I don't want to spoil the moment, but there is a blatant reference to Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. When I see that, it almost took me out in show, you know? Where it's like, okay, we want to give the characters, these heroes, gifts now, you know what I mean? Now, in the Fellowship of the Ring, it makes sense, right? In this one, it's like, you just see these people for like 2 days, and all of a sudden, hey, here's some gifts for you guys, right? Next thing you know, they were bad guys, and they come and like, fuck all you up and all, they didn't know, right? Whatever, right? So that's that, right? I have to talk quickly about the scene, and I want to wrap up here, but I have to talk about the scene, right? Speaking of medieval stuff, Tread, Snyder had the goal to do a freaking Game of Thrones reference, Tread, in one of the flashbacks. when I see it, they are like,
right.
This is Game of Thrones. This is what they're doing. All they're doing this. Why are we doing this, right? And it adds to something.
And speaking of Game of Thrones, we just watched a masterpiece of a show just done that basically do Game of Thrones better than Game of Thrones, right? Shogun,
right? Yes.
Yeah. Borderline masterpiece of the show, definitely gonna get a top 10 of the year. So I mean, it's just chalk and cheese. So watch Shogun. Right? To watch Shogun, I didn't come and watch this bullshit. Nah,
yeah, boy. and I don't want to spoil the scene, but there were moments where, like, logically, it just makes no sense. I'll just make one minor spoiler. There's like a group, there's like a band there, right? Like some guys playing strings now, like strings, like a string section there, right? Now, even when shit going south and people getting shot at and whatnot, there's a blink and you miss it moment where, you know, you're hearing the music, and you're thinking, oh, it's you know, the score itself, and you realize, no, the band is still playing the music even though people are getting shot at. And don't even get me started on... Yeah, don't even get me started.
Like Titanic.
I know, right?
You take that from Titanic.
So while men getting killed, they still play music, right? Logic, right? And don't even get me started on the acting there, Dread. There was some acting that had me cracking up, boy. Like, you murderer! And I'm there like, this is the lines they give all your Dread. Like, what going on? And I don't want to spoil... I don't spoil too much about this, right? But they reintroduce a character in this scene, Dread. And the show had the fucking goal to go at the very end and say, oh, you know that character that you thought that was dead? No, that character's still alive. And after what we just do here, we now have to go and save this person. So, Rebel Moon Part 3. Really, Zach? Really? This is what we're doing? This is what we're doing. Right after the war ends, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Something else we have to do. Let's go. And it's so tacked on and so forth, right? And last point I'll make, and then I'll get to it, right? I have to spoil this. There's a shot that for me defined this whole movie, defined the whole experience for me, right? So it involves Titus himself, right? Jaimon Honsu, right? So there's a moment where characters show up out of the blue, right? Unannounced. They just show up, right? And like he is so emotionally moved by it, right? But because the script is so poorly written, it just looks like the man is staying out into space, right? Don't mind his daytime, right? And everybody around him is cheering, yeah, woo, yeah. And this is old guy, right? And he's like watching Titus stay into the clouds, right? While the shoehorn characters do their thing, right? And he's like, Titus, yeah. And Titus looked back at him and does, yeah. And then look back with the same blank emotion on your face. That's the summary of the movie right there. It's somebody telling you that what you're seeing here is awesome and kick-ass, and you should love it because it's flashy and have explosions and lasers and all that kind of stuff. But it does nothing to you. You're watching this and you have this stone cold feet. Your face is just still. Like, it just does absolutely nothing for you. But somebody is gonna tell you, hey, this is great, you should be excited, yeah. I look back at them and say, yeah, and then you just go back like, no. That to me sums up this movie here, and the first film too, right? So yeah, not surprising, folks. This was trash. This is up there as one of the worst films I've seen this year. I don't think anything could top this. So but then again, it's still kind of early in the year, boy. But yeah, this was just as bad, if not worse, than the first film. And I saw it. I expected to, but I won't lie. I went in, even though I had my expectations lower, I tried to be fair with it. I tried to be like, okay, all right, yes, you're ripping off this, okay, but all right, but I seen the effort though. But then you'll just do something and just be like, nah, boy, low effort again. And you'll just see something like, no, this is real cool. Like, look at this shot. And they'll be like, nah, wait, no, this look too cheap. No, you know, and it's just this pull, you know, it's just this tugging and pulling that the show does though. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, I have to blame Snyder for this, man, because again, he in the game for years, man. He should do better, right? I think this is why, you know, when it just comes to him writing these stories, it's like, nah, let him just direct, let him just do his, you know, his comic book-esque kind of style when it comes to these things, his graphic novel style, approach his action sequences and whatnot. Let him do that, and you know, we'll laugh at these slow-mo shots. Like, sorry, just those montages with green though is so unintentionally funny, but so egregious at the same time, right? let him do that stuff though. But when it comes to writing, boy, it's like, no, man. Like, sucker punch and teach you a lesson, boy. But no, this is my Star Wars story. Leave me be.
But right? At least even Sucker Punch had like a kind of a team behind it, kind of like it
kind of. It just logically made no sense.
Right.
Even when it was trying to make sense, it just made no sense. Right. But yeah, there was a team. There was something that he was reaching for, a message he was reaching for. Surprisingly feminist too, but this one was just boring, flat, painfully average, and the worst part about it too, and I'll get to it in here, is just you don't care. You don't care about the characters, you don't care about the heroes, you don't care about the villains, you don't care about the green and how important it is. You just don't care. You're just watching shit just on your screen and that's it, and you're supposed to be entertained for 2 hours. Sorry, we deserve better. So for me, I'm going to give this the same rating as I gave the first one, 1 out of 5. This movie sucked. And no, I'm not excited at all for the third one. But somehow, some way, I have a feeling that I'll end up seeing it because it's on Netflix. But I will say this. I'll close this, right? If we do get the R-rated cuts for this, I'm not even going to waste my time with those, because like a certain Ultimate Edition of a certain movie that was your pick for worst movie of the decade, the R-rated cuts not gonna do anything for this. This is not like Ridley Scott's like a Ridley Scott director's cut where you might see something that could have added a lot to the original. No, it's just just pandering to the Snyderverse. Sorry, to the Snyder cut fans yet again, man. But yeah, Snyder has done better, and we deserve better. This is a waste of time. But yeah, your final thoughts and rating.
Yeah, no, this was pretty bad for me. It's just the lack of effort, but just nothing. I don't know. Somebody had to sit him down and say, "Look, let us at least sit down to punch this up now." Something, Judd. Jesus Christ, Judd. Very little of it worked for me. Look, it barely kept my attention. I was really struggling to get through this one, because like it came out and I was like, I think it take like listen, seriously, I did not watch this in a single sitting. It take me like about 5 hours to watch this movie. Seriously. It was a big problem. You had to stop.
Like you, I paused every time I saw something bad to it, but I would say it took me 3 hours. You say this thing take you 5. Jeez, mate.
Like, it was a hot minute. Got stop, I come back to it. It was just so grindy and terrible for me, and very little of it worked for me, in my humble opinion. It was pretty bad. Rating, like a 2 out of 10, basically. Very little of it works. None of it worked for me. As it still have some structure to it, fine, like some moments. But yeah, I tell you, I'm probably just gonna straight up skip that third one. Like that, I don't think I'm gonna watch it at all, or even make an effort, because this was pretty bad in my opinion. None of it worked. Yeah. Almost none of it worked. Yeah.
Right. So last thing before we wrap up, right? So I don't want to get into any discussion for this, right? But this is just something that I fear, right? So since it's clear now that this is going to be a series, right? Because the man just had to tack on that cliffhanger.
Yeah, stop giving him money.
We're gonna have a tree. Like, is this what Zack gonna be doing for a good chunk of his career now? Seeing that he not party I almost say MCU, he not party the DCEU anymore. He just gonna keep jerking himself off and do these Rebel Moon films, even though the fans make it clear. They don't fucks with it. They don't like these shows at all. Is this the party gonna go? I don't know. I don't know.
In my humble opinion, I think if there's anything you should do, I still think you should probably do it. But when it's time for Gears of War, give him Gears of War, right? Give him Gears of War. Get what do you call him? Batista to come through, play Marcus. That is my only thing I can say, because Gears of War, you could probably do a good Gears of War movie. I still believe that, but I don't know. Probably not.
No, well, but if that happens, please get somebody to write the script. Somebody else. Don't get Zack.
Have him just direct and go direct, just to get the look and whoever it is. But that is the last straw with he and me. Like, he does give him Gears of War, but this whole Rebel Moon thing is rubbish. Drop this bullshit. None of it works. Stop giving him money.
Agreed, boy. Like Netflix. What y'all doing, Jay? What y'all doing? Like, okay, fine. It's not Disney Plus. It's not Lucasfilm, but Netflix, dog, like they legit spend real money on this. I think if I'm not mistaken, these are the most expensive movies
I remember
Netflix has made there, but like they're like the worst reviewed.
I remember he tried to bullshit on Joe Rogan, I think, sometime, and he was like, "Oh well, this more people watch this than Barbie or some bullshit like that." Like, dude, stop it. Like, we smarter than that. Stop it.
Exactly. Like people wasn't gonna spend money to see it theatrically, right? Exactly. Just because they're staying home to watch it don't mean it's some kind of like big advantage. Like, no, people want to see it either to see how bad it is or just be grateful at the end of the day that they didn't spend money to see it in the theater. So it's like that, right? But yeah, man, Zack, please do better. Please. That's all. Please. Yeah.
Right.